Hey, what's going on, guys? So I have a question for you. Do you want to know the 3 easiest ways to make millionaires your friend? Well, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Omar Elattar, host and creator of the Passionate Few podcast. I've had the good fortune over the last few years of sitting down with over $10 billion worth of entrepreneurs. And I got to tell you, I've learned quite a bit from mindset to business to communication. And in this video, if you stay tuned to the very end, I'm going to share with you the top 3 ways to not just network, but how to do it in a powerful way that builds relationships and makes multimillionaires and even to the tune of multi-billionaires want to be your friend. So hope you guys enjoy this video and know that these 3 ways work. So pay attention, take notes, do whatever you guys got to do, and make sure to subscribe. And with no further ado, enjoy it as I head to the whiteboard and share with you the 3 easiest ways that you can make millionaires want to be your friend. All right, guys, so here we go. These are the 3 easiest ways to make millionaires your friend and how to make them want to be your friend. And by the way, for everybody who's going to comment and ask me, these are Swanwick blue light blocking glasses. I love them. If you want to grab a pair yourself, you can check them out in the description below. Anyways, here we go. These are the top 3 ways to make millionaires your friend. There's a lot more than this, right? And I've really, at this stage, from interviewing over $10 billion worth of entrepreneurs, have seen what works and what doesn't when it comes to networking. Plus, I've picked up some pretty cool secrets from the legends and the moguls themselves in business and life. So here we go. These are the 3 easiest ways that I know to make millionaires your friend. And honestly, when I say millionaires, I also mean billionaires as well. But for the sake of simplicity, you get the point. How to make millionaires your friend. So basically, a couple things to remember, okay? Number 1, and this is the most important, and I honestly mean this, and a lot of people might say, well, this one sounds soft, but I want to encourage you to really pay attention to it because there's magic here, okay? And that is to know your value, okay? Number 1 is to know your value. Now, when I say know your value, what do I mean by that, right? Well, I mean that you got to know what you bring to the table. You got to know that you're somebody of value, and if you're going to be approaching anything, you want to start off any amount of rapport, conversation, introductions to people, whatever it is, from a place of confidence. And the only way to do that, the way I do it, is to always subconsciously ask myself, like, what am I good at? Or, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, right? And a lot of people might think that's boastful, but I promise you, if you build a little, mini micro habit of just putting conscientious attention on your confidence and building that confidence and being aware of it, now you're going to lead your value, okay? So the number 1 thing when learning how to make people who are multimillionaires, multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs, high net worth people, high value people, even aside from just the money, how to build relationships with people and make them attracted to you is to number 1, know your value. See, when you know your value, you don't get insecure when someone's not your friend, and you don't get overly boastful when somebody is, right? You can stay in the center because you're coming from a place of honest and ethical awareness of the value you bring to the table. Another part of that is learning how to master your communication, okay? Now, inside of knowing your value, part of knowing your value is expressing your value. And I like to think of communication as the art of expression. And if you're going to be expressing yourself, you might as well be doing it effectively, eloquently, depending on the group you're in. And if you know before you ever open your mouth that you're a person of value, a person who knows how to communicate with value, how to lead with value, how to walk around and carry it. I'm not saying you got to be the buffest, the richest, the smartest person in the room, but I'm saying if those little few skill sets that you have, and I know you have them or you wouldn't be watching this video, if you have them, just put them in the forefront of your attention. It's going to be like a magnet to the world and people are going to be attracted to it. And honestly, if you ask yourself who are the people you're attracted to, I bet you it's people that are conscientious and aware of their value. So I know you might hear that and be like, well, these are the 3 easiest ways to make them my friend, but that's not tangible, Omar. That's just in my head. Well, I promise you, the universe, in my experience, has certainly proven in the experience of over $10 billion worth of entrepreneurs that I met, that there's an intangible value that attracts people when you're coming from a place of value. I mean, just think about the people that you respect or have been attracted to the most. Chances are they're pretty aware of their value, okay? And again, this is not to be confused with ego. It's really just being aware of who you are as a person. And honestly, the most important element of that is to love yourself, okay? So I think the 3 things that comprise knowing your value are threefold, okay? Number 1 is to love yourself, okay? Number 2 is to master the art of communication, okay? Master the art of communication. Now, I know you might hear that and get a little intimidated by mastering it. You're like, maybe you're trying to become a better communicator, but like, oh, master the art of communication, it sounds intimidating. Well, actually, it's the furthest thing from it because mastery is an ongoing project, right? We're all works in progress. But if you put conscious attention on not only knowing your internal value, the things you're good at, your confidences, what you bring to the table, what value you have to offer somebody, right? Because people don't care People don't care about bringing value to you if you're not bringing value to them. But if you're coming from a place of knowing your intrinsic value, bringing something to the table, knowing you can, and knowing how to communicate yourself in a way where you can pitch and catch with them, well, boom, that's going to be magnetic to everybody. Trust me, this is the most foundational piece to it all. Okay? So, number 1, loving yourself. Number 2, mastering the art of communication. And like I said, number 3 is knowing what you bring to the table. Okay? Knowing what you bring to the table. Now, a lot of times people have seen me and said, well, Omar, how did you do it? And for those that don't know, I started a podcast almost 3 years ago after a breakup. I was at rock bottom, totally broke. Financially was a wreck. And I was trying to figure it out, right? I knew I wanted to inspire the world. I knew I wanted to meet amazing people. I knew I wanted to, bridge the gap and make money doing it and build an audience and really have a voice in the world. And that's why I started my podcast and show. I had no idea that the amazing things would happen. The amazing people from, multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs like the creator of Patron Tequila, creator of Hot Cheetos, creator of UGG boots. I mean, the names and list goes on and on and on. It blows me away. But I got to tell you, it came from that place of loving myself, leading with value, despite my insecurities, despite the fact that they were richer than me or smarter than me or whatever the perception was, because I knew what I brought to the table. It was an ability to want to tell stories. I brought to the table the fact that I wanted to share their stories with the world, that I wanted to help inspire people with the podcast. So because I knew what I was bringing to the table, I came from a lot more powerful of a place to be able to express that. And when you can communicate from that place, literally there are very few limitations that you will have. So that's going to be number 1, okay? Knowing your value. Okay. Now, number 2, can you guess what it is? Number 2 is going to be to go where millionaires go. Okay? AKA, go where they go. And you guys might have heard the expression, who you surround yourself with is who you become. If you tell me who the 4 or 5 people you hang around the most with, chances are I can tell you who you're going to be, what your mindset's going to be, what your bank account's going to be, what your ambitions are going to be, the way you communicate's going to be, right? Because you got to elevate those standards just to show up at the table. So when I say go where millionaires go, what I really mean is whatever it is for you. If it's multimillionaires, multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs, you're looking to get a mentor, maybe you're looking to become a mentee, you're looking to meet people. Well, just think about it. Where do these people go? Just some ideas, depending on your goals. This works in almost any industry, any age, any country on the planet. Trust me, this appeals to you exactly where you are right now as you watch this. When I say go where millionaires go, just think about it. What about mastermind events? Okay. Right? Or seminars. Maybe you're young and you're just starting out, or maybe at any level you want to get a job, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur for this. Maybe you want to get a job at a luxury hotel, right? Or an upscale car dealership, or some sort of luxury place that people of wealth would go. I'll give you a quick story just to give you context. When I started out early on in my career, I was trying to build a network, and people always said, like, your network is your net worth. And if you guys have heard that, you guys probably know the power of that. And I want to know your thoughts on that. Comment below if you guys have any insight on that. But honestly, I believe that I wasn't, particularly gifted at meeting people and building rapport. I bumped into the walls over and over and over again. And I'm sure you have too. You get nervous, you get insecure, you get anxiety. I mean, imagine I'm sitting down with 3 or 4 cameras on me, and I'm sitting down with people who've 1,000x the wealth, or probably even more, than I was able to attain. I know at one time when I interviewed Grant Cardone, real estate mogul, I barely had enough money to even afford an Uber or gas in my car to get to the interview, let alone interview him and have hundreds of thousands of people watch. It was one of the most popular Grant Cardone interviews of all time. And imagine the value that brought to him, which then increased my relationship with him to interview him at this stage almost 2 or 3 more times on top of that. So my point is just this. If you want to surround yourself with people of a higher level, then you got to literally go where they go. They're not going to pop out of nowhere, right? If you want them to be attracted to you, you got to be in their frame of radar in the first place, And there's a beautiful expression one of my mentors taught me. He says, you can't put your hand in a jar of honey and not take it out and not have a little bit of stickiness there, right? You can't take your hand out of a honey jar and not get a little sticky. Well, the reality is that if you start going to events where people are there, and it doesn't have to be mastermind events or seminars, I'll give you more examples, but if you start putting yourself in those situations, guess what? That stickiness is going to rub off on you. That power is going to rub off on you. Those opportunities are going to open up to you. That's when the magic happens, okay? So when I say go where they go, remember, who you surround yourself with is who you become. You could also go to country clubs. Early on in my career, I was mentioning that I actually used to go to an upscale luxury gym called Equinox. And at the time, I was paying $170 a month. I barely had any more than that, but I knew the way I had logicked it out, and a lot of people may have criticized me, but now they kind of see my point at this stage, is that $170, I didn't look at it as like, oh, well, traditional average gym would charge or cost, 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or $50 for membership. I said, what does that ROI mean? Because guess what? When I go to a gym that I paid $170 for in a little bit of a luxury city, well, guess what? The guy on the bench next to me is a CEO, right? He's a vice president. He's an executive. He's a sales manager with a team underneath him. The conversations I have there are very different than the conversations I have with a 21-year-old college student who's in JC trying to figure out his major, right? Both are great people, but the level or the caliber of their professionalism, the caliber of where they're at in life, the caliber of the opportunities they can afford you are at a much higher level. And for what, an extra $120 a month? Think about it. Think about how many thousands of dollars people pay to put themselves in upscale things when you can go to places for free at a nominal rate, If you're going to country clubs, imagine country clubs to go play golf. I know I got into golf early on because I had someone teach me that. I had one of my mentors teach me that, I've never met a broke golf player. When you play golf, right? Or say you want to go have dinner at a country club, right? Or lunch or drinks or whatever it is for you. A luxury gym. I took some notes here. Another thing could be going to exotic car shows. For me, I loved cars, so I would go to exotic car shows, and guess what? Guess who the owners of those cars are looking to meet? They're looking to meet people who show up. And guess what? You can build relationships. You can build rapport. Hi, nice to meet you. I love your car. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? Oh, no way. That's fascinating, right? You can start to see how that rapport happens. Because no matter what, I can teach you all the other secrets. And I'm really passionate about helping people. And we have a special resource that you guys can check out for that if you stay tuned to the very end. But I know for me, I've seen so many more ways to do it than just one. Car shows are a phenomenal way to meet people. They want to go out there. They want to mingle. They want to connect with people who are into what they're into. Another thing, you could do what I did and start a podcast, and I literally went where they went. And again, it doesn't have to be so literal. It could be metaphoric. If you start a virtual podcast, and actually, if you guys check out the description below, we also have a high-ticket podcast accelerator course where I teach podcasters how to go from zero to building their own show the same way I did and get their voice and their message out there to the world, learn how to book guests, conduct interviews, and simplify everything from A to Z to have it step by step. And again, you guys can check that out in the description below, but whether you're virtual or in person, you can run a podcast. And you can go where they go digitally if you can't go there physically. But you want to put yourself, are you starting to see this? You want to put yourself in proximity to where opportunity would be. If you want them to be your friend, if you want them to easily be attracted to you, if you want them to easily open doors for you, well, you got to put yourself in positions to bump into them. Like I said, it can be at the gym, in the showers, in the locker room, on the floor working out. Maybe they're in the yoga class you're taking, at the mastermind event, at the seminar, at an upscale gym where maybe you pay a little bit more money, at an exotic car show, you start a podcast. I mean, there are literally an infinite amount of ways that you can do this, and the list goes on and on. And I want to ask you guys, maybe for people watching, comment below, what are great places that you met phenomenal people? What are great places to network for you that you recommend that have worked for you in the past? Literally comment that below. I think it'll be tremendous value. But I hope you guys are getting value from this and seeing that, networking and building a powerful relationship with powerful people isn't about you yourself already being the rich guy or the smart guy or whatever. It's about putting yourself in proximity, leading from a place of knowing your value and trusting the magnetism of the universe to attract people, okay? And then we get to the last part, and this is what seals the deal, at least for these top three, because these are the three easiest ways. There's really 10. If I can tell you the truth, there's really 10 that I've really boiled it down to. And again, if you stay till the end of the video, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But the number 3 thing I would say, and this is pretty simple, but also effective, okay? And that is to speak their language, okay? To speak their language. Now, when I say that, you guys might have heard the expression, when in Rome, do as Romans do. Okay, and what that means is if you want to build rapport, if you want to ingrain yourself inside of a culture or group of people, well, you got to speak their language. And when I say speak their language, I don't necessarily mean that you yourself have to be, at their level in business or at their level in fitness or mindset if they're a thought leader, or whoever it is that you're trying to network or build relationships with or have be attracted to you to be friends. What you really got to do is learn how to not just, like I said, know your value up front, but how to be confident about it, right? Because when you can have confidence in your communication, okay, when you can have confidence in your communication, that's when everything shifts. And if I was to tell you the number one thing for you to take away from this is to really develop an identity of value. Okay? Develop an identity of value. You know, one of the great teachers in personal development is Tony Robbins, who shaped my life radically. And like he teaches, and I want to encourage you to remember this, is the strongest need in the human psyche is the need to remain consistent with who we believe we are. Did you get that? Again, I'll say it. The strongest need in the human psyche is the need to remain consistent with who we believe we are. So if I'm a vegan, of course I'm not going to eat the thing. If I'm fit, of course I'm going to do this. It's not a discipline. It's not a motivation. It's an identity. When you have an identity, those are the people that last long. That's how you become a Kobe Bryant. His identity is greatness. It wasn't a discipline or something he was trying to get himself revved up to do. It was a permanent sense of knowing his value, going to where the best go, playing against them, getting in there, getting in the trenches, and developing that skill set of mastery. And like I said, speaking their language. So again, to reiterate the point, it's basically simple. You know, when in Rome, do as Romans do. So learn how to have confidence in your communication. Develop an identity of value, because that's going to be sub-communicated in your mannerisms, the way you walk into a room, the way you dress even. You know, these things are very important. And if you can speak people's language, even if it's not the money, you can relate to them in other ways that hook them. I'll give you another example. You know, I'll tell you through a podcast how I did it. I remember when I was trying to interview Richard Montañez, who, you know, has become a good friend since recording my interview, with him in 2017. It's got over almost 500,000 downloads cumulatively. You guys can check that out as well. But I basically interviewed this guy on how he built Hot Cheetos, the brand, by pitching it to Frito-Lay when he was a janitor. Literally, think about that. He was making $3 an hour as a janitor, never wore a tie, didn't spend time in, you know, any kind of high-level education. And he shared with me his story for almost an hour and a half and has since become friends with me, but how he literally went from being a janitor with nothing to creating the best-selling snack product on the planet. It's like, think about that. And I was able to, you know, be in a room with somebody who dented culture the way it has like that, build a relationship with him. And how I pitched him wasn't because I was an equal to him. If anything, I was the furthest thing on the totem pole from him. But it's because I came from a place of speaking his language. And the way I did that was when I showed up literally 3 times. I messaged him probably almost a dozen plus times through social and email, trying to get in touch with him. And he kept saying, no, I don't want to do the interview. No. So I'm like, man, you know. I watched a movie with Casanova, who, if you guys know anything about Casanova, they call him the world's greatest lover. And they ask him, what's his best advice to attract women? And you guys might want to enjoy this advice. But he says, I only have one piece of advice. And that's to be the flame, not the moth. Be the flame, not the moth. Because see, when you're a flame, you attract moths to you. You don't care if moths come and go. You just burn your light. You're indifferent what happens either way, right? You're not attached to the outcome. And no matter what happens in the outside here, you stay burning. And so being an effective networker, being a magnetic person, having charisma, communication, persuasion, all these elements that are really jumbled into the package of what it takes to become, you know, a high-level communicator, influencer, in the real sense, not in the social media influencer sense, but actually somebody who can really build powerful relationships. It's all about that, becoming a person of value. And, you know, when it comes to the word networking, I know we're going on a little bit of like a side thing here, but just want to geek out and remind you of this. The word networking is really defined as the ability to cultivate productive relationships. So think about that. If you're not speaking somebody's language, if you're not coming from a place of value, why would somebody want to cultivate a productive relationship with you if they don't perceive it to be productive? Right? But if you're speaking their language, you're leading with value, you're going with they go, boom, now you're maximizing the odds little by little of you interacting, bumping into them, and having them actually like you. So anyways, back to the story. So I messaged the creator of Hot Cheetos a dozen plus times. We go to him. He's like, no, turn down Oprah. And finally, I hear about him having an event. So I drive 2 hours to the first event to go see him in Southern California. He speaks, and I ask him for an interview. He says no. Second time, same thing. Finally, the third time I went, I realized, right? Change your approach until you get what you want. Powerful persistence tip here. I went up to him and I said, how can I speak his language? How can I speak his language? And I'll never forget it. I went up to him and I said, hey, Mr. Montañez, good to see you again. I know you turned me down on the interviews, and I apologize, and I'm so persistent. But consider me the young man you once were. When you had a dream and you were a janitor and you tried to sell the CEO of Frito-Lay on your hot Cheeto idea, and nobody believed in you. They kept telling you no. Imagine me as the young man you once were. Whoa. Think about that. Not to tune my own horn here, but think about that. How much am I speaking his language? How powerful does that penetrate someone's core when you speak to them from a place of like, whoa, like, yeah, he's speaking my language. I get it. And I want to encourage you, if you've watched this far in the video, chances are that there's a language you're speaking inside of yourself that you're not sharing with the world. So I want to encourage you to let it out. Start falling in love with yourself again. Start getting acquainted with the stories, the ideas, the insights that make you special. And ask yourself, what makes you unique? What makes you worth being attracted? What makes people want to be your friend? What are the great qualities that you have? What are the things that you can provide of value to somebody in a higher position of you, or whatever you perceive them to be in the level that you want to be around, right? If you start thinking like that, you're going to start thinking differently. You're going to start talking differently. You're going to start applying things very differently. Like I said, lead with value. Okay? And I know you might hear the word value, value, value over again, but I promise you there's a reason for it. Okay? When you're speaking their language, you have to speak in terms of benefits for them. I'll give you an example. Say you might be thinking, because I know a lot of people will be like, okay, Omar, these are powerful, these are groundbreaking. I want to see what else you have to offer, right? But at the end of the day, you got to know, you could have all these things lined up. You could have the confidence, know your values, speak well, master communication, go where they go, have the value, go in there, speak their language. But if you're not leading in terms of benefit for them, it's over. And if you think about it, the way I led with value wasn't just, can I interview you? It was, please, I'm the young man you once were, and I want to share your story with the world. That's what I told the creator of Hot Cheetos. I want to share your story with the world, please. I didn't charge them. I didn't ask for anything. So imagine what you could do by being willing to volunteer for free, or intern for free, or them wanting to hire you for free, right? Maybe you have a business. Well, now guess what? If you're coming from this place, this energetic place of knowing your value, being confident about it, going where they go, speaking with value, speaking in terms of their benefits and their values and how you can become an asset to them, well, boom, relationship's open. I'll give you another example. One of my mentors, Joel Marion, big shout out to Joel, who runs biotech. If you guys Google him, his net worth says $500 million. I don't know if it's more or less or whatever, but I know his company does upwards of $100 million a year in revenue. And I got to tell you, it's called BioTrust Nutrition. Great guy, love Joel. And if there's anything I know about Joel and some of the wealthiest people I've had the privilege to meet, is that they are constantly helping one another. This millionaire guy is helping, this millionaire guy is helping, this billionaire guy, and they're constantly introducing people to people. Trust me, I'm in the trenches, I'm in the group chats, I'm in circles I never even thought would be humanly possible. And it works. Like, this stuff literally works. I'm hopping on here to tell you guys this stuff works. And if you're leading in terms of like, oh, you know what? I might not be a millionaire. I might not have the most in shape body. I might not have a large following. I might not even have any following when I'm trying to bring value to you, but I do know this guy. Are you looking for somebody to help with your videography? Boom, I actually know this videographer. Hey, are you looking for someone to manage your social media? I actually know this guy. Or hey, maybe you have a graphic design friend and you can make graphic design cover art for their Instagram. Well, now all of a sudden you're becoming a person of value. And it's the same way I did it, for example, when I started creating interviews and I would make 1-minute segments, 1-minute clips for Instagram or Facebook that are, little mini clips from interviews, and I would actually give them to influencers. And I would have Grant Cardone posting me and Ed Milet posting me. These are people that charge for their time. And not only have I gone dozens, if not hundreds of free hours with high net worth people at this stage, but I've got so much attention and so many followers and audience members of theirs just because they share their content for free, because I brought value to them. I was speaking in terms of their benefit. Hey, would love to interview you and make clips. So I know I gave you guys some examples here. I hope you guys really take these and apply them, and really in any frame of reference you want to, whether you're a man, you're a woman, you're an adult, you're younger, you're in college, you're trying to figure it out. Maybe you're an already successful entrepreneur, you want to take it to the next level, and you want to know how the hell this weird Omar guy who came out of nowhere befriended all these people. Trust me, this stuff works. And again, these are just the 3 easiest ways that I found have allowed people to be attracted to me, opportunities to come to me. I mean, literally, I couldn't even believe when Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, they asked to interview me for their show. The fact that I went from a broke, lost kid to applying these principles and having them want to come to me was something that was mind-blowing. So I hope you guys apply these. I hope you guys took notes. If not, watch it again. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to share it, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, and we got tons more coming soon. You guys can also comment below. Let me know any questions you guys have. We have tons of new content coming out. And again, if you guys want to learn my $10 billion networking secrets in full, there's actually 10. Kind of have less fingers, but there's actually 10. And if you want to know all 10, you can check out the description below. Literally, these $10 billion networking secrets are only $10 right now. So literally, I'm trying to build so much value to show you guys that this stuff works. And I'm not going to do what other marketers do and they hype it up and down and all this. Just straight up, no bullshit. Like, this is the stuff that works.
So if you watched the video this far and you want to take it to the next level, it brought value to you, and you like these 3 and you want the other 7, you got to know these 10 secrets work. You can check them out in my $10 billion networking secrets in the description below. Make sure to join now. I think you'll be blown away at what will happen for your life, your business, and your relationships. That'll blow you away. Anyways, guys, thank you for being one of the passionate few. Like I said, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video.
If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we bring you the very best in personal development content, interviews, and insights to help inspire you to take your life and your dreams and make them a reality. And also, if you want to know how to book dream guests the same way I have, you can check the link below for my top 3 secrets. So if you have a podcast or a show or whatever it is and you want to collaborate with them, if you click that link below, I'll give you those top 3 secrets to help you get in touch with anybody. And also, don't forget that The Passionate Few is available on media platforms as well. So you can subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, thank you for being one of the passionate few.